Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my September 2025 reading vlog. So far I am already doing better than last month when it comes to reading. We are 4 days into the month and I have already read 4 things and I am currently reading 1 thing. So for my 100 Epic Reads of a Lifetime poster, I am reading The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. I am not very far into the book, so I don't have a lot of thoughts, but so far it is a book that is discussing the life of a boy who is a man now, talking about his childhood, growing up with his father, and his father's friend who is their neighbor, and his son. So far we are just establishing those characters, their past, their connections to one another, and we are now only just getting into what is going on, what they are facing in their country politically, and then what the plot will be. So I don't have a lot to say thus far. All I know is that I have started the book. So yeah. Next, I finished volumes 2 and 3 of the Batman and Robin run by Grant Morrison. I read Batman vs. Robin and then Batman and Robin Must Die. I think I finally have a very good visual analogy for what reading Grant Morrison is like, so I will show it here. Volume 2 is getting 2 stars from me, and Volume 3 is getting 1. I did not enjoy this run very much. Like I've said before, I don't think I gel with Grant Morrison's style of writing. It's not very character-focused. It is just everything, everywhere, all at once, plot, scrambling. Everyone's running around and saying outrageous and outlandish things, and it's just not fun to try and grasp and hold and, like, think about. I also read Volume 4, The Dark Knight vs. the White Knight by Peter Cornell, Peter J. Tomasi, and others, and I think that one was a little bit better. I don't remember the star rating at the moment, but I preferred it to the Grant Morrison stuff, I think, because it was just a change from what was going on, so that was an alright way to finish off that run. I then read Batman the Black Mirror by Scott Snyder and artists Jock and Francesco Francavilla, and I enjoyed this comic a lot better. This is the comic that has James Gordon Jr. in it, and I just think that this was a way better take on Dick Grayson as Batman, because he was Dick Grayson. He had a character and inner thoughts, and his actions were driven by his past and his character, and the way that people treated Dick versus the way they treated Batman. It was just all really good stuff. And another thing about this comic is that it has a relationship between Dick Grayson and James Gordon, because he knows Dick Grayson. He is Barbara's ex-boyfriend, and so of course Jim is going to have an opinion of Dick. He's gonna think he's a nice lad, but you know, oh, you broke up with my daughter, so like we have a complicated relationship. And them working together is hesitant at first, and then both of their arcs converge and they have conversations about what they're going through in each other's lives. Compared to Grant Morrison and other comic writers, this is a huge, like, positive for me. And I thought this story did a very good job connecting thematically to all the characters and their journeys, themes of legacy, themes of blood, themes of evil, nature versus nurture, whether the city is corruptive or not, and incorporates a lot of new elements as well as old callbacks. So this was just an excellent giant story, good detective work in here, great art. I enjoyed it a lot. So this is getting 4 stars from me. Thank you, Scott Snyder, for writing them as characters. I really appreciate it. It was a really good treat to read after having to suffer a bit through the Batman and Robin run. As for what I am going to read next, I think I'm gonna finally tackle this bad boy, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. In my mind, this is the most September book out of all the books on my TBR, so I think this is going to be who I tackle next. So stay tuned for more updates.
So Valor, Jock, they get that creative name from that red color. His is a little bit beat up currently as he has gone through his molds for the year. Very important part. Life, daily routine.
Hello everyone, and here we are at the final wrap up for the month. I thought I didn't do very well this month. I thought I didn't really read enough this month, but I have 6 things to talk about, so that's not too bad. So for my 100 Epic Reads of a Lifetime poster, I read The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini, and I am giving that book 2 stars. It was just exactly what I thought it was going to be, and it was something that I didn't particularly enjoy, and you will hear more about that in the final vlog of the year dedicated to the poster. Next, I read volumes 2, 3, and 4 of Batman and Robin, 2 and 3 being by Grant Morrison, and volume 4 being by Cornell. For the Grant Morrison run of these comics, they each got 1 star. Morrison is just not an author I can connect with. I do not like the way that they write character, or the way that they write action, or the way that they just bring things up without explanation, and I just do not like following whatever is going on in these comics. So Grant Morrison's writing is not for me. I did not enjoy it. However, for volume 4, I'm giving that one 3 stars because I just already think it was a vast improvement in terms of following character and plot and just sort of anything going on in the arc. It was just much easier to follow rather than Grant Morrison's stuff. I then read Batman: The Black Mirror by Scott Snyder, Jock, and Francesco Francavilla. Thankfully, I read this because trying to read all of the other stuff that I read this month in terms of Batman comics was just such a rough go at it. I did not enjoy reading any of that, and I knew I just needed something good to keep my faith in humanity, and thankfully, Batman: The Black Mirror was a 4-star for me. This is such an excellent comic, an excellent story. I love the way Scott Snyder writes Dick as Batman because he is his own person with his own past, his own way of being taught by Batman, his way of growing up. He mentions what his parents taught him before they were killed, and it is just an excellent way to have him dealing with the fact that he was thrown into the cowl and now he has to deal with it. I also really liked the way that he had a relationship with Gordon. Even though Gordon didn't really put 2 and 2 together in regards to Batman and Dick, he treated both of those entities separately. He has a relationship with Dick because Dick dated his daughter, and he has a relationship with this new Batman who he also just has to deal with. It is also just such a great parallel in terms of legacy because Dick has to step into the boots of Batman and be that legacy, while Gordon is dealing with the consequences of his son being some sort of psychopath and dealing with the fact that he is now back in Gotham and there is a lot of trouble going on with the crimes going on as well. So it is just an excellent story. This is such an improvement to the other comics that I read, and I'm really, really glad that I got to read it and enjoy it and appreciate it. I really, really enjoyed this book, and I think Scott Snyder did a great job writing Dick as Batman. This is one of the best depictions out of any of those comics because Grant Morrison didn't change anything when Dick was Batman. Paul Dini did a little bit, and I do appreciate that, but it just wasn't like deep enough, and I think this was the deeper look at Dick as Batman for sure. And finally, the one novel basically that I read for the month outside of my poster is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I'm still not done yet. I'm only just halfway through. Mind you, I am filming this wrap up a little bit early because I am dealing with the last of these shifts at work where I will be very, very busy. I am hoping next month things will be a bit easier. I have been reading this book all month and I'm only halfway through. This is very slow and not in a fun way where I'm really in the deep and rich writing. There is like no words on any of the pages. There's no words. All the chapters are 1 page long. People like this. People like this. People don't like reading. I think they just like skimming. I think they like the idea of what this book is. They like the idea that enjoying your life and reading books and drinking coffee and not being remembered is like deep and interesting. V.E. Schwab has a problem with not delving deeply into what she is writing about. I had that problem at least with Vicious, the Villains series. It had such interesting ideas, and then they were just moved on. It was done in one page. And this is kind of the opposite. It's like she heard the criticism of that and decided to write more detailed things going on, but there's nothing going on. So it's just very detailed chapters of basically nothing. I am finally at the part where she meets the male love interest and the plot reveal happens with him. And it is sad that as soon as that character got introduced, I sighed with relief because we finally had another character perspective. That's really sad. I should enjoy Addie and her journey and her arc and what she's going through. But no, instead I was waiting out for somebody else because she was just that dull. She's one of the dullest characters I have ever had to read. And I'm hoping that the other character and this new plot reveal will reveal something interesting, because so far the pair meeting each other has just been doing that soulmate thing where they just immediately start talking deeply and philosophically. And I just think that developing a relationship is more fun when it is casual and you're getting to know someone and you're kind of talking about mundane things first before you get that deep into your guys' life and like your morals and stuff. I don't know. I just don't think that anything in this book is really working for me. Like, not even hot, evil Shadow Man is doing anything. There's no hot, evil dynamic between Addie and this evil Shadow guy. So nothing is keeping me interested in this novel. I'm really hoping that the latter half has plot. That sounds terrible, but I'm really hoping something happens in this book. Otherwise, I think people enjoy this book because they like the idea of skimming pretty little lines and descriptions. And I do not want to think that's like badly about people and the way that they read, but that is all this book is giving me. I will add in a clip of any final thoughts that have me change my mind or me just reiterating this, and then I will give my star rating there. Just finished Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, and I think I'm going to be giving it probably 2.5 to 3 stars. The ending was fine. I preferred the ending to the beginning. I think that the book should have been 100 pages less, maybe even 150 pages less, because that went on and on and on and on. And I also think that having both characters make a deal and then the entity making the deal not doing anything as a result was very anticlimactic, and I wish that more stakes were at the ending. I understand it is a tragedy, but I do wish there was more conflict with the conflict that was set up, and I will just leave it at that. The book has a lot of very tired cliches to me. You know, I don't like when they put famous people in as just a name drop because famous people are so important, famous historical people. But yeah, it was fine. It's not something I'm going to be thinking about for very much longer. Ha ha ha. Very ironic. I understand why people really, really like this book and think it's a favorite, but for me, it is just something like a pale imitation of stuff that I've read before and enjoyed much better. So those are my final thoughts on Addie LaRue. I didn't hate it, So that is it. That was my month of September. I am really looking forward to next month, where I will be having small changes at work, as well as the introduction of October, where I will finally get to read some kind of Halloween-y style books. I'm very much looking forward to that, so stay tuned for that as well. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.